when Dave and I, my late husband Dave and I were working in Singapore, Prabhu came across from Bangalore, from India, and introduced us to task-based language teaching. And it was all about the kids in the classroom, and the kids doing things with language and not being taught grammar. And so we liked this, and we worked a bit on adapting his task-based learning for other situations in Singapore. And after a bit, I realised that it was a very learner-centred methodology, and the more people we talked to, the more we realised how much the learners gave the whole process in task-based language teaching. And then a bit later, I went to a humanist funeral and met some humanists. And I realised that actually, all along, I've been a humanist without realising. So, in terms of language teaching and in terms of what I do, I try always to work with what other people feel and notice what they feel and get their views, and particularly interested in doing that with learners. So, when we developed our task-based learning framework and changed it a little bit to adapt to what students wanted, we put a big focus on the learners doing tasks and meaning what they say. So task-based learning prioritises meaning. Rather than teachers coming in and saying, right, I've got some grammar for you today, I'm going to feed you some grammar, saying, I've got something for you to talk about today, we're going to do a task about, could be about volcanoes, or a task about families, or a task about a sustainable development goal, or and I'd like you to think about this, or read this text, and just pick out 3 interesting ideas in it. So all the learners are free to pick out what interesting ideas they want to, they find. Or it might be a simple task, like for beginners, learners might just simply list the people in their family. But it's their family, and they're trying to get their meanings across. And the focus on form does happen, but it happens after the task, when they maybe hear a recording of other people, fluent speakers, doing the task, and they compare their families with the speakers on the recording, and then they notice things about the language, and then they work with the language of the fluent speakers. So there's lots of language work in it, so there is form, but the meaning is always prioritised. So, yes. So, I think the whole of the task-based learning thing is very much learner-centred, and tasks can be more or less anything based on any topic you want. And sometimes learners can be sent away the day before to prepare a topic and find 2 texts on that topic, or and they choose the text. So, or they might interview someone and then come to class next day talking about this person that they've interviewed, what they think about what it is the topic is. So it's very much learner-centred.